Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome. It's Nurse Richard, the Wax Wizard. Thanks for joining me. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a coat, I'll get onto that in a minute, because I've had a bit of drama in clinic this week, and so many things, I can't even begin to tell you how many things have gone wrong, but I will tell you about those in a bit when it's a bit of a more lengthier procedure. There's 5 ears in this. Juicy skin peel off the eardrum, 2 chunky plugs, and a middle ear infection at the end. So let me tell you about this. So this fella, I've seen him before. I don't remember it looking like this, to be honest. What's happened is he's come in and took away a couple of chunks already, and then there's another chunk just here, and as I pulled that out, I thought that's going to be it, but he still couldn't hear properly. I'm thinking why. Then on closer inspection, you might be able to see there's a bit of something. It doesn't quite look normal, that eardrum, doesn't it? And the reason is because there's still quite a thin layer, and it is a really thin layer of dead skin that's failed to migrate off the eardrum. So I'm going down to get that. But what's happened, luckily for me, one of the few things that has gone right this week is this fine end tube. This is a little bit from the side has just jumped in on my way in, and it's led me all the way down to the eardrum there. I was hoping it might all come away in one go there. That would be best case scenario, but it didn't. It just broke off a little bit. But this is the great thing about the endoscope, amongst many other things. To the untrained eye, and maybe even with some, even to some trained eyes, you might be looking at that, if you looked at it with anything other than an endoscope, and think, well, see the eardrum there. I don't understand why you can't hear very well still, but you can see it. It's because there's these little flaps of dead skin that's, like I said, just failed to leave the eardrum, because the top layer of the ear just begins to, the top layer of the eardrum, sorry, just sheds itself. But it just hasn't done on there. There you'll begin to see the difference, especially in the colour when you look at this one. So if you look above it, look at the colour of the eardrum there, and then just at the bottom, as I'm about to grab that and lift it up a little bit and peel it from the base, you'll start to see it change colour slightly. Let's go to that wonderful silvery greyish blue colour, which you'd associate with a healthy looking eardrum. Really nice, that. I know a lot of people find those ones particularly satisfying, as do I. Certainly when they go as easy as they did, like that, because they're normally quite tricky then, but that was it's quite a straightforward one as eardrum peels go. This next one here, I'll quickly give you an introduction to, and then I'll tell you about what's gone wrong this week. Two ears here, same patient. She didn't have much of a problem in this one here. You can see a bit of it, well, she did have a problem because you can see it there, but she could hear okay, because there's a bit of a gap at the top so sound can get through. The other one couldn't hear a thing, but we got rid of both of them for her. Full size tube in this one. I used the fine end on the other one because it was a bit deeper to start with anyway, and it got to a certain point and it just wouldn't get any further with the fine end tube, so I took the fine end tube off the full size tube and went in with the full size tube and pulled that out. Anyway, what's gone wrong this week, right? Reason why I'm wearing a coat is I was in clinic earlier this week, and I heard this loud pop and a bang, and it was a really loud one, and no, it wasn't somebody's ear, thankfully. That's never happened, touch wood, and it's not going to. It wasn't somebody's ear or the eardrum going pop. It was all the electrics, but only upstairs. I'm on the first floor of a 2-story building. And I thought, oh no, literally everything. You can imagine how many gadgets I've got in my room to do a job like this. I probably have more than most, but every man loves a gadget, don't they? And so everything went. So I went back to, the fuse box. You flip your fuse box back up, and stayed on again for another 10 minutes, and then kept going. I thought, oh no, which one of my things is it that's triggering it? Turns out it's none of it. We still don't know what it is, to be honest, because there's another 3 rooms up there, and so they must have about like 40 odd devices to go through to figure out which one it is that's setting it off. Anyway, so thankfully there was a spare room downstairs. The only room free was one that's partially decorated and with no radiators, and it's been -6 here. Now I know that I'll get no sympathy from some of you across the world who are in much colder places than this, but it's still flipping freezing, let me tell you. So the room that was free downstairs, you might not know this, but the building I'm in was formerly a police station, and so it used to have some holding cells, which essentially same shape and proportion as a jail cell. So I'm actually doing this from one of those jail cells, which is my temporary room until we can figure out what's going on. So there's actually bars in the window, so it's just a really small rectangular room. I made a short on it. Go and look for what's it called? I've been locked up, something like that. Anyway, so that's why I'm wearing a jacket, because I'm freezing. Anyway, last one here. This fella came to see me. He could barely hear anything at all. And what had happened, he'd been into a water park. I put an arrow there. I suspect he's had a pinhole perforation. Been to a water park, and a sudden jet of water went into his ear when he was going down a water slide. And he felt some pain, but he couldn't hear anything pretty much straight after that. So I suspect what's happened is it's got a little pinhole perforation. And you might have just seen there. And that's caused a middle ear infection. It seems to have healed now, the pinhole perforation. They don't tend to take long. So I suspect what's happened is it's got middle ear infection in there, because the eardrum didn't look great either. But you might have seen there, you saw the eardrum flex a little bit. You might have seen some bubbles bubbling about in it. And the reason for that is, excuse me, when you pinch and blow your nose to pop your ears, that opens up the eustachian tube. It's a tube that joins the back of the nose to the middle ear. It forces air up there, and so it opens it up so that fluid can drain out. So I've advised, so the eardrum was sucked in as well a bit, I don't know if you noticed. So because the eardrum was sucked in, there's a negative pressure there, which will then can draw in fluid from the cells in the surrounding cells in the middle ear space as well. So it could be a bit of infection, bit of negative pressure causing that as well. But now the perforation appears to have closed anyway. Hopefully that'll rectify itself soon with a course of antibiotics and a nasal balloon. I've told him to go and get called an ointment balloon. I was going to do this video with my hat on actually. It was that flipping freezing, but I thought, oh no, not quite professional that is it. But you know what, I will, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, there's no more ears left in this, so if you're not interested in anything else, I've got to say then, feel free to scroll on by. But this is my hat I've been wearing all day, in between seeing patients obviously, because it is that cold. And it's called oddballs. Now, you might be able to spell that out. It might be backwards or up to front, upside down, inside out, I'm not quite sure. And anyway, what oddballs is I'm not sponsored by this lot, they're a charity. And what oddball, I thought I'd mention it. And the reason I know a lot of people watch, not many men, but this is aimed at you men anyway. So Oddballs is a company that a lot of, that you can buy products like hats, I think undies, socks with your own colours of your local sports team. But what Oddballs is about promoting men's health awareness, because I know most men, if they're anything like me and all the men I know, a bit of rubbish, a bit bobbins are going to the bobbins, that's a North England term for not very good. A bit bobbins at not going seeing a healthcare professional when they've got a problem, or even checking themselves out. But Oddballs, the clue's in the title, it's about checking those oddballs and other things. It's about awareness of testicular cancer, prostate cancer, all those things that affect men that they never go and see someone about. But ultimately treatable and preventable if you catch them early enough. So that's the reason why I thought I'll put my hat on, because I just wanted to tell some of you guys about that. And if just one man gets his hands down there and has a right good route about, as I know most of them are quite keen to do on most days anyway, but with a different purpose this time, then that's it, job done. So yeah, the moral of the story is get your hand down there, fellas, and just make sure everything's all right. And if it's not, just get it checked out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. But for now, take care of yourself, and I'm off to go and get warm somewhere. But hopefully I'll see you soon, back in my own room, hopefully. But for now, take care of yourself, and I'll see you later. Ta-da.